Ladies and gentlemen, greetings. I'm really happy here to introduce our project to all of you. And my name is Yihan Zhang from CS Department Class 2025. And so before our presentation, I would like to thank to our Professor Srirasha for giving us this good opportunity and let us stand this brilliant stage to present our project. And thank you very much. And so let's continue our project. So as you can see in our this PPT, the name is to claim the floating trash on the small count. And this is our member list: Jun Bohua and me, Yihan Zhang, Peng Yingzhu, and Li Shen. Okay. So with today's presentation, we have 4 sections for present. So the background, design, operation, principle, and future plan. And I will be responsible for present the first sections, the background. So first, I will set out the proposed design. So as you can see in this models, it's a boat. So we added our internships ourselves, and we control this conveyor belt and collecting the trash to this bin, like this small bin, and we use this to collecting like the sediment and some that plants flow in the water. And so when the bin is full and this small boat can separately drive over to the land, and mankind can collect it and reduce and recycle it again. We can use it to produce some electricity like that. So you may ask why we try to do this boat and what's this boat used for. So let me show you some data. So the United Nations World Assessment Report on Water Resources provided by the Fourth World Water Forum shows that there are millions of tons of waste every day in the world, and most of them are inflowed to the water. And each liter of wastewater will include 8 liters of fresh water. And we know this situation of the flowing trash in the world is really bad. All the river flowing through Asian cities are polluted, and 40% of the water resources in the United States are polluted. And only 5 out of 55 rivers in Europe, the water quality is very useful. So we need to change this situation. So I have to build this boat as our imagination. And this is directly affect the dirty water, affect our lives. So about 10,000 people die from drinking dirty water. 1 billion people in developing countries drink dirty water, and 5,000 children die from drinking dirty water every day in the world. 170 million people are from organic pollution of water. So, as a Wenzhounese, I have the experience about how the dirty water affect our lives. And I know how dirty our mother river is. So when as a child, I built up this is my original manuscript. So I want to change this situation and make our river more beautiful. So that brings us to the final point, our targets for this project. So the first target is make the traditional garbage salvage intelligent and realize the recyclable use of resources and reduce labor costs. And this is all for my part. Let's welcome our designer to say something about design part. Thank you.
Okay, thanks to Yihan's introduction to the background. So that I can speak more easily. my opinion, the plastic garbage is easy to be cleaned up. The floating mark is difficult. The floating mark is similar to the plastic garbage, but the stand of the partition is so big. So we might conducting environmental background research. We found that if there is indeed river cleaner equipment on campus, and is the advantage and the disadvantage is obvious. The advantage is beyond the standardities, and the disadvantage is it is difficult to collect and clean the floating mark. So I take a research about dealing with the floating garbage. University and enterprise and the board at home and abroad is using conveyor belts to collect garbage on the waters. When I first find to know the situation, I was so horrid of the inviters. After finishing my background check, I began my design. Original, I designed a static equipment to calculate the garbage on the water, using the bubble flow to guide the plastic waste into the collection area. It is suitable for the dealing with floating mark on campus. Also, it is suitable for the WKU situation. But the equipment, flexibility is very poor. So I turn the direction of the design to the dominate the collections. So after we designed the papers and more. So how can we meet the need to collect the garbage and the floating mark? I designed a year to using a filter net to calculate the floating mark. My professor Su also proposed a question about the buoyancy, buoyancy problems. The weight at the board and the bar are not equal to keep the both balance. So I divide the boat into the collecting garbage and loading garbage part. So my presentation is over. That welcome to the tool.
And my partner has already done. You may look further about its operation. And to figure out the operation, you need to figure out the hardware and software. In each case, it's a circuit and code. So this is for the RX, that's a shortcut for the receiver, and that's the code in our case. So we can see there are two motors on the back. They are connected with our propellers. So that's the power of the whole system. They will push our boat move forward. And then the forward motor will connect with the conveyor belt so that the boat can collect garbage in the storage unit at the back. And now let's look at the back end, the diagram. The power will go through the battery state. And it will first initiate the demo board. And the demo board will depend on the transmitter's signal and act correspondingly. And you can figure out there are 4 switches on our design, which as you change the switch on and off, the signal transmitters will send a different signal to our receiver. So now we can look inside about this code. For transmitters, it simply puts all the pins of the board in the input status, so that whatever change is made, the receiver transmitters can know. And then it will send a corresponding the receiver. So, for example, if we send a number 45, it means move forward in our boat. So the receiver would open the two motors at the back on the on situation, and the boat can move forward. And if we want the boat to turn right, we only need one motor to open. And during our process of the operation and design the boat, we come up with several ideas about our future. First, we want to have a monitor in our boat so that we can detect the situation of the boat. And for example, it will include the remaining battery and the current weight of the garbage. More importantly, it will constantly focus on the pH value of the water so that we can make better decisions based on that. And then the water quality, that's actually our main idea. For our clean boat, we not only want to clean the garbage which is on the floor. We also want to clean the smells of the boat. And in conclusion, we'll keep focused on this project, and we have already done a good job. And maybe our every process it's important to protect the environment. And thank you.
What is the scale of the boat?
Scale. It's like about 1 meter long.
1 meter
and,
long.
50 meters.
So what is the largest piece of garbage you can pick up?
Just like we can just collecting that as our boat, we collecting some like the plastic bottles from in the river. So we use our belts to collecting like the bottles, so we can use it to
Print the design and keep
we
it there.
have the 3D model.
They printed. They printed, but the machine was so small, so they couldn't fix the circuit.
So we break
Each one of these would hold a plastic bottle.
Yeah.
So it's specifically made for plastic bottles.
Yeah. Like we can do actually a lot of things, right? Like
Sure, but I mean nothing larger than a plastic bottle per se.
It's okay, I think. It depends on the lake. If like our artificial lakes, we can do this more bit more. Maybe not just 4 meters, maybe 10 meters. It's okay. So the value will be larger than.
So what is the process of taking the garbage from these containers and putting it in here?
Here and this when the garbage is full and this small boat will go away to the south and to the land we can do this and recycle and for build for the mud we can build like this.
Have you considered a variable speed conveyor belt?
No,
It's more than a design. It's our dream boats like that.
Yeah. And then this will be an autonomous boat.
No matter.
What is an autonomous boat? Autonomous. Will it be navigated by itself, or can you navigate?
now it's green light.
Now you know. Okay. Is the code set for you to? So the code you were describing where it turns right or it turns left, that's your navigation. Okay. So future opportunity is to make it autonomous.
Our boat is more than like a slow walking robot in your house. We are we designed this for the lake, just like that.
A couple of questions about your background research. One is that you showed us one example of an existing boat that does the same thing yours does, but I don't think you did enough research. There's actually a lot of different boats. So I think it's important you look at the different boats, especially for your designer. The designer needs to know what existing versions of the same idea exist already to see where he can improve on it. That's one thing. The other thing is that the example you used about being too simple, I wonder why you decided on a boat and not trying to innovate and solve and better solve the problem that was presented to you as your problem, as what you laid out as your own problem statement. Because I think that maybe there's opportunity to solve the problem in a stationary way. Because they're already trying to solve it in a stationary way, but maybe computer science can help to solve that problem better. Because you said it was too simple. I think that the boat is a really cool idea. And I think that you've done a lot of interesting things with it. It's cool. Thank you. But I think that the early steps are the important things that maybe